Hello students, welcome to my class OOAD through UML. In this class, we are going to discuss about the nature of object. The ability to recognize physical objects is a skill that humans learn at a very early age. A brightly colored ball will attract an infant's attention, but typically, if you hide the ball, the child will not try to look for it. When the object leaves our field of vision, as far as she can determine, it ceases to exist. It is not until near the age of 1 that a child normally develops what is called the object concept, a skill that is of a critical importance to future cognitive development. Show a ball to a 1-year old, then hide it, and she will usually search for it even though it is not visible. For the perspective of human cognition, an object is any of the following: a tangible and a visible thing, something that may be apprehended intellectually, something toward which thought or action is directed. An object has state, behavior, and identity. The structure and behavior of similar objects are defined in their common class. The terms instance and objects are interchangeable. State, semantics, consider a vending machine that dispenses soft drinks. The usual behavior of such objects is that when one puts coin in a slot and pushes a button to make a selection, a drink emerges from the machine. What happens if a user first makes a selection and then puts money in the slot? Most vending machines just sit and do nothing because the user has violated the basic assumptions of their operation. Stated another way, the vending machine was playing a role that the user ignored by making a selection first. Similarly, suppose that the user ignores the warning light that says correct change only and puts in extra money. Most machines are use raw style. They will happily swallow the excess coins. The state of an object encompasses all of the properties of to be object plus to be current values of each of these properties. Behavior. The meaning of behavior. No object exists in isolation. Rather, objects are acted upon and themselves act upon other objects. Thus, we may say that behavior is how an object acts and reacts in terms of its state changes and message passing. In other words, the behavior of an object represents its outwardly visible and testable activity. Identity. Semantic. Koshafian and Copeland offer the following definition. Identity is that property of an object which distinguishes it from all other objects. They go on to note that most programming and database languages use variable names to distinguish temporary objects, mixing addressability and identity. Most database systems use identifier keys to distinguish persistent objects, mixing data, value, and identity. The failure to recognize the difference between the name of an object and the object itself is the source of many kinds of errors in object oriented programming. Relationships among objects. Kinds of relationships. An object by itself is intensely uninteresting. Objects contribute to the behavior of a system by collaborating with one another. As Ingalls suggests, instead of a bit grinding processor wrapping and plundering data structures, we have a universe of well behaved objects that courteously ask each other to carry out various desires. For example, consider the object structure of an airplane, which has been defined as a collection of parts having an inherent tendency to fall to earth and requiring constant effort and supervision to stave off that outcome. Only the collaborative efforts of all the component objects of an airplane enables it to fly. The relationship between any two objects encompasses the assumption that each makes about the other, including what operations can be performed and what behavior results. We have found that two kinds of object hierarchies are of particular interest in object oriented analysis and design, namely links, aggregations. Links semantics. The term link derives from Rambach, who defines it as a physical or conceptual connection between objects. An object collaborates with other objects through its links to these objects. Stated another way, a link denotes the specific association through which one object applies the services of another object, or through which one object may navigate to another. Several different links. A line between two object icons represents the existence of a link between the two and means that message may pass along the path. Messages are shown as directed lines representing the direction of the message, with a label naming the message itself. For example, here we see that the object, a controller, has links to instances of a display item. Although both A and B probably have links to the view in which they are shown, we have chosen to highlight only one such link from A to A. Only across these links may one object send messages to the another object. As a participant in a link, an object may play one of the following roles. Actor, an object that can operate upon other objects but is never operated upon by other objects. In some contexts, the term active object and actor are interchangeable. Server, an object that never operates upon the objects. It is only operated upon by other objects. Agent, an object that can both operate upon other objects and be operated upon by other objects. An agent is usually created to do some work on behalf of an actor or other agent. Aggregation, semantics. Whereas links denote peer to peer or a client supplier relationships, aggregation denotes a whole or part of hierarchy with the ability to navigate from the whole to its parts. In this sense, aggregation is a special kind of association. The object RAM controller is thus the whole and H is the one of its parts. In other words, H is the part of state of the object ramp controller. Given the object ramp controller, it is possible to find its corresponding heater H. Given an object such as H, it is possible to navigate its enclosing object if and only if this knowledge is the part of state of H. Aggregation may or may not denote physical containment. For example, an airplane is composed of wings, engines, landing gear, and so on. This is a case of physical containment. On the other hand, The relationship between a shareholder and her shares is an aggregation relationship that does not require physical containment. The shareholder uniquely owns shares, but the shares are by no means a physical part of the shareholder. Rather, this whole relationship is more conceptual and therefore less direct than the physical aggregation of the parts that form an airplane. Nature of a class. The concept of a class and an object are tightly interwoven, for we cannot talk about an object without regard for its class. However, there are important differences between these two terms. Whereas an object is a concrete entity that exists in time and space, a class represents only a abstraction, the essence of an object, as it were. Thus, we may speak of the class mammal, which represents the characteristics common to all mammals. To identify a particular mammal in this class, we must speak of this mammal or that mammal. A class is a set of objects that share a common structure and a common behavior. A single object is simply an instance of a class. Interface and implementation. Mayer and Snyder have both suggested that programming is largely a matter of contracting the various functions of a large problem are decomposed into smaller problems by subcontracting them to different elements of the design. Nowhere is this idea more evident than in the design of classes. Whereas an individual object is a concrete entity that performs some role in the overall system, the class captures the structure and behavior common to all related objects. Thus, a class serves as a sort of binding contract between an abstraction and all of its clients. By capturing these decisions in the interface of a class, a strongly typed programming language can detect violations of this contract during compilation. We can further divide the interface of a class into three parts. A public, a declaration that is accessible to all clients. A protected, a declaration that is accessible to only to the class itself, its subclasses and its friends. A private, a declaration that is accessible only to the class itself and its friends. Class life cycles. We may come to understand the behavior of a simple class just by understanding the semantics of its distinct public operations in isolation. However, The behavior of more interesting classes, such as moving an instance of the class, display item, or scheduling an instance of the class, involves the interaction of their various operations over the lifetime of each of their instances. Relationships among classes. Consider for a moment the similarities and the differences among the following classes of objects: flowers, daisies, red roses, yellow roses, petals, and ladybugs. We can make the following observations. A daisy is a kind of flower. A rose is a kind of flower. Red roses and yellow roses are both kinds of roses. A petal is a part of both kinds of flowers. Ladybugs eat certain pests such as aphids, which may be infesting certain kinds of flowers. Specifically, most object-oriented programming languages provides direct support some combination of the following relationships: association, inheritance, aggregation, using, instantiation, metaclass. Association. Association is an automated system for retail point of sale. Two of our key abstractions include products and sales. We may show a simple association between these two classes. The class product denotes the products sold as a part of a sale, and the class sale denotes the transaction through which several products were last sold. By implication, this association suggests bidirectional navigation. Given an instance of product, we should be able to locate the object denoting its sale, and given an instance of sale, we should be able to locate all the products sold during the transaction. Inheritance. After space probes launched, they report back to the ground stations with information regarding the status of important subsystems such as electrical power and propulsion systems, and different sensors such as radiation sensors, mass spectrometers, cameras, micrometeorite collision detectors, and so on. Collectively, this relayed information is called telemetry data. Telemetry data is commonly transmitted as a bit stream consisting of a header, which includes a timestamp and some keys identifying the kind of information that follows, plus several frames of proposed data from the various subsystems and sensors. Because this appears to be straightforward aggregation of different kinds of data, we might be tempted to define a record type of each kind of telemetry data. For example, in C++, we may write single inheritance. Simply stated, inheritance is a relationship among classes wherein one class shares the structure of and behavior of another class. We call the class from which another class inherits its superclass. In our example, telemetry data is a superclass of electrical data. Similarly, we call a class that inherits from one or more classes a subclass. Electrical data is a subclass of telemetry data. Inheritance therefore defines an is a hierarchy among classes in which a subclass inherits from one or more superclasses. This is in fact the litmus test for inheritance given classes A and B. If A is not a kind of B, then A should not be a subclass of B. In this sense, electrical data is a specialized kind of more generalized class telemetry data. The ability of a language to support this kind of inheritance distinguishes object oriented from object based programming languages. A multiple inheritance with a single inheritance, each subclass has exactly one superclass. However, as Vlissides and Linton point out, although single inheritance is very useful, it often forces the programmer to derive from one of two equally attractive classes. This limits the applicability of predefined classes, often making it necessary to duplicate code. For example, there is no way to derive a graphic that is both a circle and a picture. One must derive from one or other and re-implement the functionality of the class that was excluded. Multiple inheritance is supported directly by languages such as C++ and CLOS, and to a limited degree by Smalltalk. The need for multiple inheritance in object oriented programming languages is still a topic of great debate. In our experience, we find multiple inheritance to be like a parachute. You don't always need it, but when you do, you are really happy to have it on hand. Aggregation. Aggregation relationship among classes have direct parallel to aggregation relationships among the objects corresponding to these classes. Using our earlier example of the illustrated a link between two objects which we represented via using relationship between their corresponding classes. Instantiation. Our earlier declaration of the classes was not very satisfying because its abstraction was not type safe. We can vastly improve our abstraction by using languages such as Ada, C++, and EFIL that support genericity. For example, we might rewrite our earlier class declaration using a parameterized class in C++. Meta class. We have said that every object is an instance of some class. What if we treat a class itself as an object that can be manipulated? To do so, we must ask What is the class of a class? The answer is simply a meta class. To state it another way, a meta class is a class whose instances are themselves classes. Languages such as Smalltalk and CLOS support the concept of a meta class directly. C++ does not. Indeed, the idea of a meta class takes the idea of the project model to its natural completion in pure object oriented programming languages. Interfaces and implementations. Classes and objects are separate yet intimately related concepts. Specifically, every object is the instance of some class, and every class is 0 or more instances. For practically all applications, classes are static. Therefore, their existence, semantics, and relationships are fixed prior to the execution of a program. Similarly, the class of most objects is static, meaning that once an object is created, its class is fixed. In sharp contrast, however, the objects are typically created and destroyed at a furious rate during the lifetime of an application. For example, consider the classes and objects in an implementation of a traffic control system. Some of the more important abstractions include planes, flight planes, runways, and airspaces. By their very definition, the meanings of these classes of objects are relatively static. They must be static, for otherwise one could not build an application that embodied knowledge of such common sense facts as that planes can take off, fly, and then land, and that two planes should not occupy the same space at the same time. Conversely, the instance of these classes are dynamic at a fairly slow rate. New runways are built and old ones are deactivated faster, at new planes are filed and old ones are filed away. With great frequency, new planes enter a particular airspace and old one leaves. Role of classes and objects in analysis and design. The importance of proper classification for the role of classes and objects in analysis and design. During analysis and the early stages of a design, the developer has two primary tasks: identify the classes and objects that form the vocabulary of the problem domain, invent the structure of whereby sets of objects work together to provide the behavior that satisfy the requirements of the problem.